All right, everyone. So I want to talk to you guys about why Turkey supports Azerbaijan against Armenia over Nagorno-Karabakh. So last year, there was a war between the Armenians in the region of Nagorno-Karabakh and Azerbaijan. At one point in time, Nagorno-Karabakh was controlled by Azerbaijan thanks to a policy that was initiated by the Soviet Union, but Armenia took Nagorno-Karabakh in the 1990s, believing that it belonged to them because historically, Nagorno-Karabakh has always been inhabited by Armenians. But last year, there was a war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and Azerbaijan won. The reason why Azerbaijan won the war is because Azerbaijan is armed with a very destructive drone that was created by Turkey. It is called the Bayraktar TB2, and it is one of the most effective and destructive drones on Earth. And it is also one of the most demanded for drones in the defense industry market. These drones can fire from 18,000 feet up in the air. They can travel 150 kilometers. They can fly for 27 hours. In other words, the Armenians were absolutely helpless in this conflict because they were not armed with this sort of technology. And if you are not armed with this sort of technology, but your enemy is going to win the war. And that's what happened. The Armenian soldiers were like fish in a barrel. They were trapped. They did not know when these things would strike, and so they were vanquished and slaughtered, sadly enough. Roughly 5,000 Armenian soldiers died in this conflict. Azerbaijan was heavily backed by Turkey. In fact, this was really a victory for Turkey through its proxy, Azerbaijan. Now, the question is, why did Turkey support Azerbaijan? Well, of course, we have to remember there is an ideology behind this sort of thing. Turkey sees itself as the leader of the Turkic world and has a dream of creating a Turkic NATO. And so, if Turkey is going to spark this empire, if it's going to revive its power, Turkey is going to have to go into conflict with its enemies. Armenia, geopolitically speaking, is an obstacle to this aspiration. Why? Because it's right there in the way. Azerbaijan is right on the coast with the Caspian Sea, and it's right across from Central Asia. Central Asia is the motherland of the Turkic people. Because remember, in the medieval period, the Seljuk Turks, who were Muslim, they invaded Central Asia. Not Central Asia, sorry. They invaded Asia Minor, which is today Turkey. They invaded Asia Minor, Anatolia, which was inhabited by Hellenic people, Greeks who were Greek Orthodox Christians, and they forced the native population to convert to Islam. And even though the great majority of people in Turkey today are genetically Greek, they consider themselves Turks. This is mainly ideological, if anything else. So Turkey sees itself as the leader of the Turkic world, and it wants to dominate the Christian world. And historically, the Armenians have been on the crosshairs of Turkey, and that is really, really understating it because Turkey was close to annihilating the Armenian race during the First World War. So Armenia is in a very, very difficult predicament, and that's really understating it. Armenia is sandwiched in between two countries that want to annihilate it. It's sandwiched in between Turkey, which almost exterminated all of the Armenians during the First World War, and it's also sandwiched in between Azerbaijan. Quite literally, actually, because if you look at a map, you'll see that Armenia is in between two regions, Azerbaijan on one side and another region called Nakhchivan on the other. Nakhchivan is really an extension of Azerbaijan. It calls itself an autonomous region, but it's really an extension of Azerbaijan. And then on one side also you have Turkey, which almost exterminated the Armenians. And then, of course, you have the Azeris, who see themselves as an extension of Turkey, the very country that tried to exterminate the Armenians. So Armenia is sandwiched in between Turkey and Azerbaijan. It's kind of like Poland, right in between Russia and Germany, both of which butchered millions of Polish people during the Second World War. Um, and what Turkey and Azerbaijan want to do is they want to build a corridor linking Azerbaijan with Nakhchivan. And because the Azeris retook Nagorno-Karabakh, Turkey now has that access way right into Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan and Turkey want to build a corridor linking Nakhchivan with Azerbaijan, and this corridor would run through a region in Armenia called Syunik, or Syunik, and this would thus allow Turkey to have direct access through Nakhchivan, through Armenia, right into Azerbaijan, and from Azerbaijan right into the Caspian Sea, and from the Caspian Sea right into Central Asia. Now, what also lies in Central Asia? Afghanistan. And which country is America asking to fill up its vacuum in Afghanistan? Turkey. Turkey is the country that America is pushing, or not really pushing, is asking to fill up the geopolitical vacuum that America has left in that country. So everything is coming together perfectly for Turkey. I remember before the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, doing a video on this subject saying Turkey wants access into the Caspian Sea. That's why it supported Azerbaijan, because being an extension of Azerbaijan, and basically since Turkey borders with Nakhchivan, which is an extension of Azerbaijan, Turkey has direct access into Nakhchivan, Azerbaijan, and then if this corridor is built, Turkey can cross that corridor. It can go right through Armenia and right into Azerbaijan, into the Caspian Sea, into Central Asia. You had these Turkish trolls who were saying, "Oh my God, you're an idiot," blah, blah, blah. And now we're seeing it happening. We're seeing it gradually unfold. Now, I must also add that in this sort of situation, Armenia is completely helpless. For one thing, it's a very poor country. It is greatly isolated from the economic apparatus that Turkey established. Turkey has a railway system for commerce and trade that connects Turkey with Tbilisi and Azerbaijan. This railway does not at all go through Armenia, thus further isolating Armenia. Russia sees Armenia as just a pawn. Russia is playing this game where it's being diplomatic with Turkey, but at the same time doing these moves that advance Russia over Turkey's plan. And Turkey's doing the same thing. Like, they're both playing this game where they're like, yeah, playing diplomacy, but then they do these actions. They make these actions and make these policies that further their own separate interest. It's kind of like the Soviet Union and the Third Reich. Yeah, they were allies when they were invading Poland, but then when it came down to it, they turned on each other because they're basically like two dogs fighting for the same bone. So I think eventually Russia and Turkey are going to turn on each other. Russia will play this game where it's an ally with Armenia, but then at the same time, it gives weapons to Azerbaijan. And while giving weapons to Armenia, it makes money on both sides. We see this sort of game being played. It's a game where people die, but we see this transpiring in Syria. So, for example, when Turkey had its war with the Syrian government, Russia brokered a ceasefire between Turkey and Syria, and Turkey agreed to the ceasefire. Why? You would think, well, because Turkey, is friends with Russia. No, it's because part of the ceasefire agreement was Turkey would be allowed to have a troop presence in the Idlib province, thus maintaining Turkey's foothold in Syria. So they'll play these diplomatic games, but they give and take, and they will do things that appear friendly and maybe soft, depending on who's talking. But at the same time, they gain advances, they gain advantages in these sorts of formalities, in these sorts of diplomatic situations and outcomes. So it's all unfolding. The whole thing is unfolding. And we're seeing the rise of Turkish power, and you're seeing it in the South Caucasus. And it's amazing. The country that, it's really disturbing actually, the country that tried to exterminate all of the Armenians is the country that America is supporting, which really goes to show you that America does not give a shit about the Holocaust or about genocide. It doesn't give a damn. It really doesn't care. America right now is supporting the rise of a fascist empire. Turkey. That's what America is. It's supporting a fascist empire. That's the bottom line. That's what this is. And you're seeing it rising with America's permission, with America's help. Yeah, it's all happening. Anyway, that's all for today. You guys just heard some theology. God bless.